What is your identity? Because nowadays we have so many identities. Instagram identity, Facebook identity, career identity, temple identity, Sunday identity, Monday identity. And 6 feet below all of those identities, who are you really? That is what Krishna wants to teach Arjuna. Hare Krishna. So since we are at school today, Yogi is our resident school teacher, and he has told me to instruct you to put your names on your books. So at the back of your book, on the back page, there's a space which says name. And we want you to all put your names there in case you do lose your books, as all good students do. Dear friends, we are moving on. Krishna is teaching us to rethink life, and he's told Arjuna that first you have to redefine success. And now Krishna is going to go further. He's going to teach Arjuna how to understand what success is. But to understand what is success, first you have to know identity. Who are you? The second chapter of the Gita is known as Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya means analysis. There are many things we can analyze in the world. My dad was a cricket fan, so we used to analyze the scores, the batting averages, the bowling averages. Sometimes people analyze the news. Sometimes people analyze other people. But the ultimate analysis that every single person needs to do is the analysis of what is spirit and what is matter. Unless you understand the distinction between spirit and matter, all other analysis in the world will lead you nowhere. And therefore, in the second chapter of the Gita, what Krishna does is he does this analysis. And he says, this is the very, very first thing you need to know. What is your identity? Because nowadays we have so many identities. Instagram identity, Facebook identity, career identity, temple identity, Sunday identity, Monday identity. And 6 feet below all of those identities, who are you really? That is what Krishna wants to teach Arjuna. Remember, Arjuna is an archer. And if you're an archer and you're about to shoot an arrow, hopefully not shoot the bow. Oh my God, that's dangerous. The first thing you have to do is, you have to pull back. So Krishna says, yes, there are 2 types of success. There's material and there's spiritual. But to know how to achieve that success, you have to know what is your dharma. And did you know there's a material dharma and there's also a spiritual dharma? And in order to know your dharma, what do you need to know? Your identity. And did you know there's a material identity and there's a spiritual identity? See, the Gita is very, very logical. Krishna is a mastermind. Krishna knows at what time to tell people what things. Again, 99.9% of the world only know about this. And therefore, did you know? They think they're living, but they're not living. They're only existing. If you really want to live, then you need to know both. And in order to do that, first, you have to understand what is your identity. And so here is Arjuna. He's completely bewildered. Krishna is smiling. The great philosopher teacher, Jiva Goswami, he says Krishna's first and final verse of instruction in the Bhagavad-Gita is very instructive because it tells us the basic human condition of every single person in this world. The first and the last instruction. What is the first instruction that Krishna gives to Arjuna? In 2:11, Krishna says, Asocyan anvasocastvam pragyavadam bhashashe. Krishna says to Arjuna, Asocyan, don't lament. And the very final instruction of Krishna in the Gita in 1866, what does Krishna say? Moksha yishyami ma sucha. Krishna says the very final thing, ma sucha. Do you see the same word comes up again? Socha, which means anxiety, which means fear, which means lamentation. Krishna says, basically the human condition is that from morning to evening, underlying everyone's emotions is fear, anxiety, and lamentation. Once I was driving in a car and there was a sign, do not disturb, already disturbed. You are sitting here, I can even see the energy from your head. Everyone is sitting here, but we are disturbed. We are in fear, anxiety. Some cloud is, isn't it? They had those cartoons where everything is sunny, but above the person there's a dark cloud. Everyone's sitting with that anxiety. And therefore Arjuna had that. He was crying. And Krishna says, now I'm going to relieve you of that anxiety. Dehinosmin yatha dehe komaram yovanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhirastatra namuyati. This is so simple, so profound. We need to keep hearing this again and again. Krishna says, look Arjuna, never was there a time when you didn't exist, nor me, nor all these people. We were all existing before. We're existing now, and after this world will continue to exist. Krishna is telling Arjuna, you are not this body. You're not a man, you're not a woman, you're not young, you're not old. Shall I tell you what? You're not even Gujarati. Sorry to drop the news. We are something beyond all of this. There is a physical body, Krishna says, made up of 5 material elements. Bhumirapo, nalo, vayu, kamano, buddhirevacha. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Then Krishna says, inside of that you have a subtle body made up of 3 subtle elements. Mind, intelligence, ego. Some people think they are the mind. I tell people the mind is not the root of consciousness. No. The mind is the root of consciousness. We think we are the mind. When a voice comes in the head, you think that's me. No. That's just the mind. Relax. And then Krishna says, beyond all of this, you are the soul. And as a soul, you are Sat, eternal, Chit, full of cognizance, and Ananda, full of happiness. How does every single fairy tale in the world end? They lived happily ever after. You think this is just a simple statement. This is a profound philosophical statement. Lived means Chit. Happily means Ananda. And ever after means? Does anyone live happily ever after in this world? But that aspiration is there because we're spiritual beings. We're not meant to be here. The first thing Krishna says to Arjuna is that you're not this body. We have to remind ourselves of this thing every single day. I was once in a talk with someone, so they were asking us questions, two of us on stage. So they asked the question, what's the first thing you do in the morning? So the person next to me said, I plan my day. They looked at me, they said, what's the first thing you do in this morning? I said, I remind myself when I wake up that I'm not part of this world. We have to remind ourselves of this every single day. Krishna says this physical machine is not you. We identify it with it so much. Mirror, mirror, on the wall. But we are the soul. See? And when you go from one life to another, the soul is traveling. This is reincarnation. The soul is traveling. But you are beyond that. You're the soul. You're a spark of consciousness. So therefore, this beautiful analogy is given in the Upanishads, that the senses are like horses. The reins are like the mind. The driver is like the intelligence. And the soul is the passenger. And what should happen is that the soul should tell the intelligence how to control the mind, which should then guide the senses. But you know what happens in most people's lives, right? The senses see something, tell the mind it's great, which then forces the intelligence to figure it out, and the soul is basically non-existent. Yeah, that's how I felt also. This is very, very simple. It's very, very powerful. Krishna is telling us, remember, I keep repeating because you need to repeat these things. There's spiritual and there's material. There's svadharma. Yes, you're a husband, you're a wife, you're a worker, you're positions in the world, but you have sanatan dharma. And your identity is material. There's a physical and there's a subtle, but then you're ultimately the soul. And most people don't connect with this identity. And so, remember we were talking about two sides of success? What Krishna is telling Arjuna is that these things have to go side by side. You have to perform your svadharma and your sanatan dharma side by side. And what Krishna says is that, remember, all of your designations in this world are simply a role. But your identity is that you're something beyond that. But what happens is that people think they are the roles that they play. No, no. All the world's a stage. And you're simply playing different parts at different times. And so, what we have to do every single day is join the 5 a.m. club. And if you're at the manor, you have to pay a higher price. It's 4:30 a.m. We have to rise before the sun. We have to rise before the world is moving. We have to rise before the WhatsApp notifications are coming in. And we have to remember, I have nothing to do with this world. I'm a spiritual being. I'm on a longer journey, just passing through for some time. And therefore, we encourage everyone, connect with your first identity in the morning, your identity as a spiritual being, because you know what? As time goes by, every single other identity will leave you. We think I'm a student. That one doesn't last for long. We think I'm a cricketer. I thought I was. Didn't last for long. I thought I was going to be shy in my life. Lost my innocence. Manager, positions come and go. Health ultimately leaves you. Riches will leave you. Even fame is so ethereal. It goes. Even your partner will leave you. and hopefully even certain deviant beliefs will leave you as well. Every single identity that we hold so dear to ourselves ultimately disappears in the waves of time. And why does Krishna take away all of those identities? To make you realize that you're none of those things. You're something, you're that thing which remains once all of those identities are gone. And therefore Krishna says to Arjuna, if you want to be successful, then know that while in this material body, you have a spiritual identity, and learn to integrate and live with an awareness of both of those identities. So dear friends, remember, Krishna is telling us to rethink life. Some people will tell you spirituality comes later. No, no, no. Spirituality doesn't come later. It doesn't. Once one monk wanted to join here, his father came in, and his father said, let him grow up. Let him earn a living. Let him have children. Let his children grow up to be his age, and then he can do it. We looked at his father and said, forget him, we'll take you instead. The father said, no, it's okay, you take him. I'm just now coming. No, no. Spirituality comes first. You don't get in a car, start driving, go on the motorway, and after 2 hours on the motorway, ask yourself the question, where am I going? You ask the question first. My job and relationships are my identity. No, no, no. Your jobs and your relationships are your role. You're doing them for some time. Be dutiful. But remember, you're nothing to do with any of these things. I have a soul. Correct? Correct? I have a body. I am the soul. You don't have a soul. Your first identity is that you are the soul. And you have this body for some time. Everything is taken away from me. We look at Krishna. Everything you're taking away from me. Correct? No. Everything is taken away. That's not me. Krishna will take away everything from you. That's not you. To help you realize who you really are. Therefore, one of Krishna's names is Hari. Krishna is a thief. It's too late. You got involved with a thief. That means he will steal away everything from you. Vraje prasidam navanita chauram chauragraganyam purusham namami. Krishna steals the clothes. He steals the butter, he'll steal your mind, he'll steal away all your sinful reactions, and he'll steal away everything from you and leave you with the greatest wealth to make you understand that you're not any of these things. You're a spiritual being. When you wake up in the morning, no fear, no socha, no anxiety, no lamentation, because it's all just temporary. Easier said than done. But when we remind ourselves of this, then we become free from all of this anxiety that Arjuna is going through. Therefore, the very next thing after teaching Arjuna that you have to rethink life, Arjuna, first thing, redefine success. And then, after redefining success, rediscover your real identity. Hare Krishna.